Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. You know, I've been watching people for many years now, watching how they live, how they work, how they dream, and most importantly, how they either achieve those dreams or let them slip away. The difference between success and failure isn't usually about talent. It isn't about luck. It isn't even about opportunity. It's about what you do when you don't feel like doing anything. That's right. The most important moments in your life are not the moments when everything is going well and you're feeling motivated. The most important moments are those when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when every fiber of your being is telling you to quit. Those are the moments that define you. Every morning when the alarm goes off, you make a decision that shapes the rest of your day, perhaps even the rest of your life. You have two choices. You can hit that snooze button, roll over, and dream about what you want. Or you can get up, put your feet on the floor, and go pursue your dreams. The problem is, most people are in love with the snooze button. They're in love with just 5 more minutes. Those 5 minutes can become 5 days, 5 months, 5 years of postponed dreams. Do you know what separates the successful from the unsuccessful? It's not that successful people don't like sleep. They love it just as much as you do. The difference is what they're willing to sacrifice for what they want. Success demands sacrifice. Always has, always will. Greatness costs something. It's not free. It's not on sale. You can't find it at a discount. Greatness will cost you your comfort. It will cost you your excuses. It will cost you some relationships. It will cost you those extra hours of sleep. It will cost you those mindless evenings in front of the television. And that's why greatness is rare, because most people aren't willing to pay the price. They say they want success, but they're not willing to get up at 5 a.m. to work on their business before their day job starts. They say they want to be fit and healthy, but they're not willing to say no to that extra dessert or get to the gym when it's cold outside. And they say they want financial freedom, but they're not willing to study, to learn, to invest, to delay gratification. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to tell you that the journey is easy. I'm here to tell you that it's worth it. I want you to take a moment and think about the excuses you've been making. Go ahead, be honest with yourself. We all make them. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not as talented as they are. I don't have the right connections. The economy is bad. Nobody in my family has ever done this before. Now, I want you to realize something important. Every minute you spend making excuses is a minute you're not spending creating results. You can have excuses or you can have results, but you cannot have both. The choice is yours. Let me tell you about 2 types of people. The first type is what I call the mood-dependent person. This person works when they feel like it. They're inspired on Monday, so they work hard. They're tired on Tuesday, so they take it easy. They're motivated on Wednesday, so they put in effort. They're discouraged on Thursday, so they barely try. The second type is what I call the commitment-dependent person. This person works regardless of how they feel. They're tired on Monday, but they work anyway. They're discouraged on Tuesday, but they show up. They're not feeling it on Wednesday, but they put in the hours. They're exhausted on Thursday, but they push through. Which type do you think achieves extraordinary success? I'll tell you, it's the second type, every single time. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day, but they drastically underestimate what they can accomplish in a year of consistent effort. Consistency beats intensity every time. Now, I want to talk about something that many motivational speakers avoid. They'll tell you to dream big, to set goals, to create vision boards. And those things are important, don't get me wrong, but they're not enough. Dreams without discipline are just fantasies. Goals without work are just wishes. Visions without action are just hallucinations. What separates the dreamers from the achievers is the discipline of action. The discipline to start before you feel ready. The discipline to continue when you don't see immediate results. The discipline to finish when it gets difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, and that bridge is built one consistent action at a time. Life presents us with two pains, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. It's the discomfort of getting up early, of studying when others are playing, of saving when others are spending, of working when others are resting. The pain of regret weighs tons. It's the crushing weight of what might have been, of if only I had, of dreams unfulfilled and potential unrealized. You get to choose which pain you'll carry. But understand this, you will carry one of them. I recommend the pain of discipline. Why? Because it's temporary and it leads to growth. The pain of regret, on the other hand, can last a lifetime. Some of you sitting here today are at a crossroads. You know what you need to do, but you're hesitating. You're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect circumstance, the perfect feeling. But let me tell you something. There is no perfect time. There is only now. And now is all you have. The greatest tragedy in life is not failure. It's succeeding at things that don't matter. It's climbing the ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. It's reaching the end of your life and realizing you lived someone else's dream instead of your own. What matters to you? What's your definition of success? What would make you proud when you look back on your life years from now? These aren't just philosophical questions, they're practical ones, because your answers will determine what you get up for, what you work for, what you sacrifice for. Let me tell you about the lion. The lion isn't the biggest animal in the jungle. That's the elephant. The lion isn't the smartest animal in the jungle. That might be the chimpanzee. The lion isn't even the fastest animal in the jungle. That's the cheetah. So how does the lion become the king of the jungle? It's the lion's mentality. When a lion sees a herd of gazelles, it doesn't think, oh, they're too fast for me, I'll never catch them. No. The lion thinks, which one am I going to eat first? When a lion is surrounded by hyenas, it doesn't think, there are too many of them, I better run. No. The lion thinks, I am the king. They should be afraid of me. It's not the lion's physical attributes that make it king. It's the lion's mentality. And the same is true for you. Your success isn't determined by your circumstances, but by your mindset. So I ask you, are you thinking like a lion or are you thinking like prey? You know, many people are waiting for something to happen. They're waiting to feel motivated. They're waiting to feel ready. They're waiting for the perfect opportunity. They're waiting for someone to come along and change their lives. But here's the truth. Waiting is a waste of time. Action is what changes things. Action is what creates opportunity. Action is what builds momentum. Some of you might be thinking, but what if I fail? And my answer to that is, so what if you do? Failure isn't fatal. It's not final. It's simply feedback. It's a lesson. It's a stepping stone on the path to success. In fact, failure is often the best teacher you'll ever have. It's in failure that we learn our most valuable lessons. It's in failure that we discover our true strength. It's in failure that we find our resilience. So don't fear failure. Fear mediocrity. Fear settling. Fear living a life of what ifs and if onlys. Let me ask you a question. When is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. And when is the second best time? Right now. Many of us spend too much time regretting that we didn't start 20 years ago, and not enough time taking advantage of starting right now. The past is gone. The future isn't here yet. The only moment you have any power over is this one right now. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to make an excuse, or are you going to make progress? Are you going to wish things were different, or are you going to take action to make them different? Are you going to wait for the perfect moment, or are you going to make this moment perfect through your commitment? Ladies and gentlemen, the clock is ticking. Time waits for no one. And the sad truth is, many people realize too late that they waited too long to start. Don't let that be you. You know, one of the most powerful exercises I've ever encountered is what I call the rocking chair test. I want you to imagine yourself at the age of 90, sitting in a rocking chair, looking back on your life. And I want you to ask yourself, what would I regret not doing? What would I wish I had attempted? What dreams would I be sad I never pursued? Then take those answers and start working on them today. Because the tragedy isn't in trying and failing. It's in never trying at all. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking yourself in the eye, and asking these questions. Am I giving my best, or am I settling for less? Am I making excuses, or am I making progress? Am I living up to my potential, or am I letting my potential go to waste? The person in the mirror doesn't lie. They can't. And sometimes the truth they tell us is uncomfortable. But growth comes from discomfort. Strength comes from struggle. Character comes from challenge. So I encourage you to have that mirror moment, to look yourself in the eye and be honest about where you are and where you want to be. And if you don't like what you see, don't break the mirror. Change the reflection. We often underestimate the power of small decisions. We think it's the big, dramatic, life-altering choices that determine our destiny. But the truth is, it's the small, seemingly insignificant decisions we make every day that shape our lives. The decision to get up early or sleep in. The decision to read a book or watch TV. The decision to save money or spend it. The decision to exercise or sit on the couch. The decision to learn something new or stay comfortable with what you know. These small decisions, made consistently over time, have a compound effect. Just like compound interest in finance, compound decisions in life can lead to extraordinary results or devastating consequences. So don't dismiss the power of small decisions. They're the building blocks of your destiny. Change happens in an instant. It happens the moment you decide that your desire for something better is greater than your comfort with what you have. It happens when you decide that enough is enough and that something's got to give. It happens when you stop blaming your circumstances and start taking responsibility for your life. Ladies and gentlemen, that decision can happen right here, right now, in this room, in this moment. You don't need more information. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more inspiration. What you need is to make a decision. A real decision. The kind where you cut off any possibility of retreat. The kind where you burn the boats, so to speak, so that the only way is forward. You know, in ancient times, when armies would arrive by sea to conquer new lands, some generals would order their men to burn the boats. This meant there was no escape, no retreat, no plan B. They either conquered or perished. While that might seem extreme, there's a profound lesson in it. Sometimes, commitment means eliminating your escape routes. It means making the decision that success is the only acceptable outcome. What boats do you need to burn? What safety nets do you need to remove? What plan Bs are holding you back from fully committing to plan A? Let me tell you something important about time. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose a job and find another one. You can even lose a relationship and find love again. But you cannot lose time and get it back. Once it's gone forever. That's why how you spend your time is so crucial. It's not just about being busy, it's about being productive. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's not about doing more things, it's about doing the right things. Ask yourself, are you investing your time or are you just spending it? Are you using your time to move closer to your goals? Or are you letting it slip away on things that don't matter? Remember, at the end of your life, you won't regret the TV shows you didn't watch, or the social media posts you didn't read. You'll regret the dreams you didn't pursue, the risks you didn't take, and the potential you didn't fulfill. Time is the great equalizer. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference is how we use them. Successful people guard their time like it's their most precious resource, because it is. They're intentional about how they spend their days, their hours, their minutes. They understand that saying yes to one thing means saying no to something else. So they're selective about their yeses. They reserve them for things that align with their values and their goals. What about you? What are you saying yes to that you should be saying no to? What are you saying no to that you should be saying yes to? One of the greatest enemies of growth is comfort. We naturally seek comfort. We avoid pain. We shy away from difficulty. But have you noticed that nothing extraordinary ever happens in your comfort zone? Growth happens at the edges of your abilities, in the space where challenge meets capability. That's why I challenge you to do something uncomfortable every day, to stretch yourself, to push your boundaries, take the cold shower, have the difficult conversation, try the new skill, face the fear. Because the more you step out of your comfort zone, the larger it becomes. And the larger your comfort zone, the more of life you get to experience. Think about it. Every skill you now possess, every ability you take for granted, was once outside your comfort zone. There was a time when walking was uncomfortable, when reading was difficult, when driving was terrifying. But you pushed through the discomfort, and now these things are second nature to you. The same principle applies to any new skill, any new challenge, any new level of success you want to achieve. It will be uncomfortable at first. It will be difficult. You will feel awkward and incompetent. But if you persist, if you push through that initial discomfort, eventually what was once difficult becomes easy. What was once terrifying becomes comfortable. What was once impossible becomes routine. That's the power of embracing discomfort. That's the gift of expanding your comfort zone. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. The people you spend time with shape who you become. They influence your thinking, your beliefs, your habits, and ultimately, your success. So take a look at your 5 closest friends. Are they pushing you to grow, or are they keeping you where you are? Are they dreamers and doers, or are they cynics and complainers? Are they lifting you up, or are they holding you back? This isn't about judging others, it's about being intentional about who you allow to influence you. If you want to fly with the eagles, you can't continue to scratch with the chickens. There's an old saying that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And there's a lot of truth to that. If you spend time with people who are negative, who complain, who blame others for their circumstances, guess what? You'll start to develop those same attitudes and behaviors. But if you spend time with people who are positive, who take responsibility, who are constantly growing and learning, you'll start to develop those qualities too. Now, I'm not suggesting you need to cut people out of your life, but I am suggesting that you need to be mindful of who you give your time and energy to, and perhaps more importantly, who you allow to influence your thinking and your beliefs. Seek out mentors, peers, and communities that will challenge you to grow, that will hold you to a higher standard, that will inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Because the truth is, your environment shapes you. Your associations influence you. Your community impacts you. Choose wisely. Many people pray for an easy life, but I've noticed something interesting. It's the difficult times that shape us the most. It's the struggles that build our strength. It's the challenges that reveal our character. It's the obstacles that develop our resilience. So instead of asking why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? How can this prepare me for what's next? Because the truth is, the struggles you're facing today are preparing you for the opportunities of tomorrow. Think about it. If everything in life were easy, if there were no challenges, no obstacles, no setbacks, what kind of person would you become? Probably not a very strong one. Probably not a very resilient one. Probably not a very wise one. It's the difficult times that forge our character. It's the struggles that reveal what we're truly made of. So don't shy away from difficulty. Don't run from challenges. Don't avoid obstacles. Instead, embrace them, learn from them, grow through them, Because on the other side of every struggle is a strength you didn't have before. Success isn't a mystery. It's not some secret formula available only to the chosen few. Success leaves clues. And if you study successful people long enough, you'll notice patterns. They take responsibility for their lives. They focus on what they can control. They persist when others quit. They learn from their mistakes. They delay gratification for greater rewards. They invest in themselves and their growth. These aren't just nice ideas, these are principles. And principles always work if you work them. Are you working these principles? Are you applying these patterns in your own life? Because if you are, success is just a matter of time. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. But if you're not, if you're violating these principles, if you're going against these patterns, then success will always elude you, no matter how talented you are, no matter how lucky you get, no matter how much opportunity comes your way. Principles don't make exceptions. They don't play favorites. They don't discriminate. They simply work for those who work them and fail for those who violate them. I've been fortunate to meet and learn from many successful people over the years. And one of the most striking things I've noticed is how ordinary most of them are in many ways. They don't all have extraordinary talents. They don't all have exceptional intelligence. They don't all have unique skills. What they do have is extraordinary commitment, exceptional persistence, unique discipline. They simply do the ordinary things consistently, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one is watching. And over time, those ordinary actions done consistently produce extraordinary results. That's good news for all of us. Because it means success isn't about being extraordinary. It's about doing the ordinary things extraordinarily well. It's about getting up when you don't feel like it. It's about working when you're tired. It's about persisting when you face setbacks. It's about believing when others doubt. It's about doing the small, simple, sometimes mundane things that, compounded over time, lead to extraordinary success. Your life right now is the sum total of your choices. If you want a different life, make different choices. It really is that simple and that difficult. Because making different choices requires courage. It requires discipline. It requires faith in yourself and in the process. But I believe in you. I believe you have what it takes to make those choices, to face those challenges, to overcome those obstacles. The question is, do you believe in yourself? Will you get up when you don't feel like it? Will you work when you're tired? Will you persist when you face setbacks? Will you believe when others doubt? Because if you will, if you'll get up and get it done, there's nothing that can stop you from achieving the success you desire and deserve. The decision is yours. Choose wisely. Your life depends on it. Thank you.